We now head to Liberia, where the ongoing election is yet to reach a conclusion as President George Weah may have to wait for second round of voting to find out if he will retain his seat. A vote count showed that none of the 19 candidates vying for the country's presidency had reached the threshold needed to be declared winner, meaning the contest will have to be decided via a runoff. This means that the top two candidates, incumbent President George Weah, football legend, and former Vice President Joseph Boakai, will face each other in the second round, according to the National Electoral Commission of Liberia. The two are neck and neck with less than 50% of the votes. Now, joining me live from Monrovia to further discuss this development is the National Program Manager, Federation of Liberian Youth and Coordinator of the Youth Election Situation Room, the YOPA, Samuel James Kpartor. Welcome to you, Samuel, and thanks for joining us on the news.
Well, thank you very much. It's good again to be on the news tonight. Greetings from Liberia. The country is very peaceful as we speak, and we already having preliminary celebrations from representative and senatorial candidates in other parts of the country.
Okay.
Celebrating
Now,
victory.
Samuel, the election, the presidential election, is going to be decided by a runoff. How do you think the close margin between George Weah and Joseph Boakai would impact the political landscape in Liberia, and what made it neck to neck?
Well, essentially, as we speak, President George Weah, incumbent president, has about 803,000 votes, while Vice President Joseph Boakai about 790 some more thousand votes. So it's a very, very, very close elections, and unfortunately, neither of them were able to reach the threshold. So it means that they will now turn to other opposition candidates that contested the elections and acquired some significant amount of votes. And the reason for this very, very close contestation is that on one hand, you had Liberians that were fed up with the current government's performance and not very impressed. On another hand, you had a very persistent government willing to show that they did a good job and they were willing to retain and get another 6 years. So it was a very closely contested process, and we see that the country was evenly divided over who takes the mantle of leadership. So that now will be decided now by a runoff elections that will be on the base of a single majority. So whoever wins by even a single vote in the runoff elections will be declared new president of the Republic of Liberia.
Now, Samuel, talking about this runoff election, as the National Electoral Commission of Liberia given a date for this runoff elections, and will there be campaign? Will there be a campaign period leading to this elections?
Well, it will be a very, very brief campaign, but yes, as per our constitution, the potential date for the runoff elections is set for November 7, 2023. So in almost less than 3 weeks, we should be going again to the polls to elect a president, on the ballot. So November 7th is the constitutional date. If for any reason and it will not be held on November 7th, it will mean that maybe there are some court processes or court proceedings that have prevented the date to be November 7th. And based on a decision from the Supreme Court, the date might be rescheduled to a later date. But for now, as per the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, the runoff elections will be and should be held on November the 7th, which is going to be the second Tuesday from the official pronouncement of the elections result. So the definite date that the final result is supposed to be pronounced is October the 25th. That's the day the final elections result is supposed to be pronounced. So 2 weeks after that date, November 7th is supposed to be the runoff elections, potentially.
Okay, now, Samuel, during the main presidential elections, the first round, we saw 19 candidates vie for the office of President of the Republic of Liberia. Going into the runoff, would you see any potential endorsements or deals happening between the other candidates that didn't make it to the runoff and the two leading candidates, Weah and Boakai?
So essentially, one of the main opposition candidates, Alexander B. Cummings, had earlier mentioned that if his party is unfortunate to not go to the runoff, whoever goes to the runoff, they will support the opposition candidate. So I think for now, the opposition has a head start as to getting support from fellow opposition candidates, but the ruling party is not going to be sitting. I'm sure they begin reaching out to other parties and to solicit endorsements. A very surprise in these elections is the person who was the first on the ballot paper, an Weah Appleton Jr. He was a surprise candidate that amassed votes across the country and that placed him potentially third in the national, legislative and presidential election. So he's also going to be a major decider, and the both sides have begun reaching out to potential candidates to see on what sort of support can be galvanized. But for us as an independent youth organization, we're just watching the process. We hope that whatever happens, they follow the legal process. If anyone has issues with the elections, they can follow the legal means. And we're just watching to see who eventually is going to take on the mantle of authority for Liberia for the next 6 years. But one thing that we are particularly proud of is that we've seen a lot of young persons getting elected in government, and so we're very proud of it, including former leaders and former members of the Federation of Liberian Youth. Getting seats in the legislature is something that we've been particularly proud of and watched in these electoral processes.
Thank you very much for your insights, Samuel. James Kpartor would continue to engage you. We hope that Liberians also keep the peace as we saw at the first round of the presidential elections. Thanks for your time and insight.
Thank you very much. Thank you.